Welcome, and thank you for joining us. Today we demystify machine learning operations, MLOps, the disciplined approach to deploying and monitoring AI models in real business environments. As decision makers, you've invested in AI pilots and prototypes. Now it's time to ensure those models actually deliver value. Studies show up to 80% of ML projects never leave the lab. We're here to make sure your initiatives beat those odds. By the end of this discussion, you'll understand how MLOps turns promising AI models into reliable business tools, driving efficiency and innovation for your organization. MLOps, or machine learning operations, is an emerging discipline that ensures your AI models don't just work in a demo, but continue to perform in the real world. Think of it as applying the rigor of traditional IT operations, DevOps, to the unique challenges of machine learning. It covers everything from when a data scientist first builds a model to when that model is deployed for users and monitored continuously. The goal is straightforward: get ML models out of the lab and into daily business processes efficiently. MLOps introduces automation, version control, testing, and collaboration into ML model management. By doing so, it creates a repeatable, reliable pipeline for AI, so your team isn't reinventing the wheel with each new project. Why should business leaders care about MLOps? Because it transforms AI from a one-off experiment into a sustainable business asset. MLOps addresses the notorious last-mile problem, getting a great model actually deployed where it can create value. By automating and standardizing the deployment process, organizations dramatically reduce time to market for new AI-driven features. This means staying ahead of competitors with faster innovation. MLOps also ensures consistency and reliability. Models perform as expected because they're deployed with tested, repeatable pipelines. Crucially, MLOps enables continuous monitoring and improvement. As data drifts or customer behavior changes, the system catches it and allows updates before accuracy degrades. In short, MLOps mitigates operational risks like regulatory non-compliance or biased outcomes by adding transparency and control. For executives, that means AI projects with predictable performance, lower risk, and higher trust across the organization. Let's talk deployment, the journey from a trained model on a data scientist's laptop to a live model serving your customers. In modern MLOps, we borrow continuous integration, continuous deployment, CI/CD concepts. Every time a model is updated or retrained with new data, automated pipelines test it and push it to production if it meets quality criteria. Many firms use containerization, e.g., Docker, to encapsulate the model and its environment, ensuring that it runs the same everywhere. No, it worked on my machine issues. Deployed models often live behind microservice APIs. This means your AI model can be queried in real time by your software, e.g., a recommendation engine on your website, or used in batch mode, e.g., scoring risks on a nightly data batch. Depending on needs, models might deploy to the cloud for heavy compute, or to the edge, like on a device or local server for low latency needs. An e-commerce SMB, for instance, might deploy a pricing model as a cloud API that updates prices on their web shop dynamically, while a small manufacturer could deploy a quality control vision model on edge devices right on the factory floor. MLOps provides the tooling to make all these deployment scenarios efficient and manageable. Deployment is not the finish line. It's the start of a new phase. Once a model is in production, monitoring is critical. We continuously track how the model is performing. Is its accuracy holding up? Are responses quick enough for users? For example, if you have a customer churn prediction model, MLOps monitoring will reveal if its accuracy drops as customer behavior evolves. This could indicate data drift or concept drift. Basically, the world changed in a way that the model wasn't trained on. MLOps systems can detect these shifts by comparing live data stats to the training data baseline. When drift is detected, it can trigger a retraining pipeline or alert your team. Through feedback loops, the model can be periodically retrained with fresh data, say monthly or whenever performance falls below a threshold. Everything is versioned and logged. We know exactly which version of the model made each decision, using which data, which is crucial for compliance and audits. Imagine explaining an AI-driven decision to a regulator or a client. You need that traceability. And if something goes wrong, say an outage or a weird spike in predictions, the system sends out alerts so your team can respond immediately. In essence, monitoring keeps the AI honest, effective, and aligned with your business objectives continuously. The good news is you don't have to build an MLOps stack from scratch. A range of powerful tools exist. The major cloud vendors offer integrated MLOps platforms. AWS SageMaker, Google Cloud Vertex AI, and Azure Machine Learning are leading options that provide a one-stop shop to train, deploy, and monitor models, with fine-grained security and scalability out of the box. For example, an SMB can use SageMaker to train a model, deploy it as an API endpoint, and have AWS handle logging and alerts, all through one service. If you prefer more control or cost saving through open source, there are open source MLOps frameworks. MLflow, for instance, helps track experiments, record model parameters and metrics, so you know which model version is best. Kubeflow leverages Kubernetes to orchestrate complex ML workflows, which is great if you already use containers. Google's TFX, TensorFlow Extended, provides components for building robust ML pipelines beyond just training. We also adapt traditional DevOps tools, pipelines in Jenkins, GitLab, container orchestration with Docker and Kubernetes, treating infrastructure as code, all adapted to handle the quirks of ML, like large datasets or GPUs. For monitoring, existing tools like Prometheus, Grafana can capture model service metrics, and newer specialized tools, such as open source Evidently AI or commercial Y Labs, can track data drift and accuracy in real time. The tool landscape is rich. The key is choosing what fits your team's skills and your use case. The bottom line, whether you go with a managed cloud service or open source components, MLOps tooling makes deploying and babysitting models far more feasible for a small team. Let's bring this to life with a case study. Consider Acme Fabrication Co., a mid-sized manufacturer with about 150 staff. They suffered costly production halts because machines would break down unexpectedly. Traditional maintenance schedules weren't cutting it. They turned to an AI-based predictive maintenance solution. First, they equipped critical machines with IoT sensors to stream performance data. An ML model was developed to predict failures ahead of time, but the key was deploying that model in a way the plant engineers could rely on daily. Using an MLOps approach, Acme set up a pipeline with Azure Machine Learning and IoT Edge. Sensor data flows into a cloud database. The model retrains monthly in Azure ML to get smarter, and the latest model is deployed onto small industrial PCs, edge devices, right on the factory floor. This way, predictions happen in real time on-site, even if the internet cuts out. The MLOps pipeline also monitors the model's accuracy. If it starts missing predictions or raising false alarms, the system flags it for retraining. The outcome? Downtime plummeted by 30% as they could fix machines before they failed. That translated to about $500,000 in savings in a year, not to mention smoother operations and happier clients. This SMB didn't have a huge data science team. They achieved this by smartly leveraging cloud tools and a solid MLOps process. It's a prime example of how even smaller firms can deploy advanced AI solutions reliably with MLOps, directly boosting the bottom line. Our next case is Bright Baskets, a niche online retailer specializing in curated gift baskets. With Kao's 50 employees, they compete by offering a personal touch. But their website originally showed the same featured products to everyone, and engagement was lukewarm. Conversion rates were low because customers weren't finding relevant items. Bright Baskets invested in an AI recommendation engine to personalize product suggestions, like larger companies do. They use past browsing and purchase data to train a machine learning model that predicts what a visitor is likely to buy next. Now, deploying this model was a challenge. They don't have an extensive IT team. Enter AWS SageMaker, which they use to handle a lot of heavy lifting. An MLOps pipeline was set up. Every week, SageMaker pulls the latest user interaction data, retrains the recommendation model, and if the new model performs better than the last, evaluated on a holdout sample, it automatically deploys it to production. The model is served via an API so that when a returning customer logs in, the website calls this API to get personalized product suggestions on the fly. They also integrated monitoring, tracking metrics like click-through rate on recommendations and the eventual sales conversions. Through this MLOps managed cycle, the model continually improves and adjusts to seasonal trends or changing customer preferences. The impact was clear. Within a quarter, BrightBaskets saw a 15% increase in online sales attributed to more relevant recommendations. Moreover, they achieved this without a dedicated in-house AI army. The combination of a cloud platform and good MLOps practices made it feasible. For the business, it meant AI-driven personalization, happier customers, and higher revenue, all on an SMB budget. Adopting MLOps might sound daunting, but it's entirely achievable for small and mid-sized businesses. Here are some battle-tested best practices. First, start small. Identify a use case that can show quick wins. Maybe it's automating a routine prediction or improving a process with AI. Don't try to deploy 10 models at once. Get one right, prove the ROI, then expand. Next, take advantage of managed cloud services. Rather than investing in your own servers and complex tooling, use platforms from AWS, Google, or Azure that handle much of the ops heavy lifting, security, scaling, updates. It's like renting a fully equipped factory instead of building one from scratch, perfect for SMB budgets and bandwidth. Automation is your friend. Set up pipelines so that retraining, testing, and deployment happen with minimal manual steps. This not only speeds things up, but also ensures nothing is forgotten. And if a key employee leaves, the process doesn't vanish with them. Alongside automation, maintain good documentation and versioning. Note which data and code produced which model. This makes compliance easier and troubleshooting a breeze. You can pinpoint which version had an issue. Invest in upskilling your team. Train your software engineers in data science basics and your data scientists in DevOps basics. Breaking down silos is a big part of successful MLOps. And don't go it alone if you don't have to. There are MLOps consultants and vendors, including ones focused on SMB needs, who can jumpstart your efforts or provide tools that plug into your workflow. In summary, start smart, use the resources available, and build the right skills. You'll create an MLOps capability that punches above your weight as an SMB. Ultimately, MLOps is an investment that pays off in tangible ways. Companies that embrace it see a faster pace of innovation. When your data science idea can go live in a fraction of the time, you get more cycles of learning and improvement, which compounds into competitive advantage. By keeping models on a tight leash of monitoring and updates, performance stays consistent. You won't be caught off guard by a model that silently got less accurate over time. Instead, your AI systems are dependable, which means your business decisions and customer experiences driven by those AI are solid. There's a cost argument here too. While there is upfront effort in setting up MLOps, it saves money in the long run. Automated pipelines and proactive monitoring prevent the nightmare of a major failure. Imagine an AI model pricing products wrong for days. MLOps would catch that drift early. Also, the same pipeline can often be reused, so deploying the second, third, nth model is faster and cheaper each time. This scalability means you can expand AI usage without needing a one-to-one increase in headcount or overhead. Finally, consider your market position. With a robust MLOps practice, you can continually roll out enhancements, smarter features in your app, better personalization, faster service, which keeps customers happy and competitors on their toes. In short, MLOps turns AI into a lasting competitive edge, not just a one-hit experiment. We should address the challenges as well. It's not all magic and rainbows. First, data quality remains king. If your data is garbage, or if you lack a steady flow of data, even the best MLOps process can't produce great models. So, invest in data engineering, cleaning and structuring data alongside MLOps. Next, there's a cultural aspect. MLOps blurs the line between traditionally separate teams. Your IT operations folks and your analytics or data science folks will need to work more closely together. This can be a shift if they're used to working in isolation. Leadership needs to encourage a culture of collaboration and shared responsibility for AI projects. On the resource side, yes, there's an upfront cost, whether it's subscribing to a platform or the manpower to set up pipelines. For SMBs, budgets are tight, so approach it as an investment. Maybe earmark a portion of the IT budget for an MLOps pilot and have clear metrics to hit, like reducing deployment time or errors. Also, don't overlook security and compliance. When deploying models, you are often dealing with customer data or making decisions that could be scrutinized. Ensure that your MLOps pipeline has proper access controls, who can deploy a model, who can view data, and keep documentation. Which data was used for what model, in case you need to answer regulators or customer inquiries. Lastly, MLOps is not a set it and forget it toolkit. It does automate a lot, but you must still tend to your systems. That means someone on the team regularly looks at the dashboard, responds to alerts, and plans the next retraining or model improvement. The good news is, with MLOps, this maintenance is predictable and manageable, much better than firefighting ad hoc issues. Being aware of these considerations will help you plan better and avoid pitfalls as you incorporate MLOps into your business. In closing, remember this: an AI model alone doesn't create business value until it's deployed and monitored. MLOps is the methodology that makes that happen, ensuring your ML models become dependable workhorses for your organization. For small and mid-sized businesses, this is a tremendous opportunity to leverage advanced technology without the chaos that typically comes with it. You've seen that you don't need massive teams or budgets. With the right approach, an SMB can compete with the big players by being smarter and more agile in deploying AI. I encourage you to look within your business for that one promising AI use case that's been sitting on the shelf or in experiment mode. Use what you learned today to make it your pilot project for MLOps. Start with a clear goal. Get the right tools or partners and take that model to production. If at any point you need expert help or a tailored strategy, Shy GTM is ready to assist. We've helped organizations like yours navigate this journey, and we'd be excited to do the same for you. Thank you for your time and attention. Together, let's turn your AI aspirations into real-world results. Feel free to ask any questions. I'm here to help.